Deep within Serenity Peaks National Park, where ancient trees weave a canopy so thick that daylight becomes a perpetual twilight, four friends sought an escape from the city's clamor. There was Leo, the natural leader, Maya, the pragmatist, Ben, the tech enthusiast, and Chloe, whose sensitivity made her keenly attuned to the world around her. They made camp in a clearing that felt untouched by time, the air crisp and clean, the only sound the whisper of wind through the leaves. It was Chloe who found it. While searching for kindling near the base of an ancient oak, her fingers brushed against something hard and cold beneath the moss. It was a music box, crafted from dark wood adorned with intricate carvings of vines and forest animals. There was no lock, just a small brass latch tarnished with age. Despite Maya's insistence that they could be disturbing a historical site, or worse, a grave, the group's curiosity won out. With a soft click, Leo opened the lid. Inside, a faded red velvet lining cradled a delicate cylinder mechanism. There was no ballerina figurine, just the cold metal of the comb and barrel. Ben, ever the tinkerer, wound the small key. An expectant silence fell over them as the first few notes filled the air. The melody was a lullaby, but not one they knew. It was hauntingly beautiful, with a sorrowful cadence that seemed to carry the weight of centuries. As the last note faded, a chill ran through the group, despite the warmth of the now crackling campfire. That night, the real terror began. Chloe woke first, her heart pounding. The lullaby, it was echoing from deep in the forest, faint but unmistakable. She woke the others. Leo grabbed a flashlight, his face a mask of tense determination. Ben switched on his portable audio recorder, hoping to capture the anomalous sound. Maya tried to rationalize. It was the wind, a night bird, their minds playing tricks. But the sound grew clearer, closer, and then it changed. The melody distorted, laced with a crackling static, like a poorly tuned radio. New layers of sound emerged from beneath it, the snap of twigs, a low whisper that seemed to speak their names, the distant cry of a child. Ben's recorder picked up only static and bizarre frequency spikes that didn't match what they were hearing. Fear began to eat away at their logic. By the second night, the phenomenon had become personal. Leo, who secretly feared being alone, heard faint calls for help coming from all directions. Chloe, who mourned the loss of her grandmother, heard snippets of her favorite song woven into the lullaby. Maya, the skeptic, heard the sound of fingernails scratching against the canvas of her tent, yet found nothing outside. The forest was using their deepest fears against them. They weren't just hearing a ghost, they were being psychologically hunted. Ben noticed a pattern. The sounds grew loudest and most distressing when they tried to move toward the trail they came from. But when they moved deeper into the forest, towards a rocky ridgeline, the cacophony would subside, returning to the original lullaby, almost like an invitation. It wasn't random, it was guiding them, it was hurting them. Desperate for answers, they agreed to follow the sound to its source. With trembling flashlights, they pushed deeper into the woods, the lullaby acting as a macabre beacon. The journey led them to a part of the forest that was unnervingly quiet, where not even the insects dared to make a sound. There, nestled between the roots of a colossal sequoia, was a camouflaged metal hatch, overgrown with moss and dirt. With a combined effort, they heaved it open. The air that rushed out was cold and sterile. Metal stairs led down into darkness. Reluctantly, they descended into what appeared to be a small subterranean observation post. But instead of military gear, it was filled with monitors and quietly humming servers. It was a laboratory. One main monitor displayed a thermal image of the forest. They could see the outlines of deer, owls, and something else. Creatures they didn't recognize, moving in the shadows. In a corner of the screen, 4 human heat signatures were clustered together. Beside them, blinking green text read, "Subjects, non-threat, mode, passive deterrence." On a desk, they found a leather-bound journal. It belonged to Dr. Eris Thorne, a reclusive biologist who had vanished in the region a decade ago. The final entries revealed the terrifying truth. Dr. Thorne hadn't disappeared. She had gone into hiding. She had discovered the forest was the last sanctuary for several species thought to be extinct. To protect them from poachers and human encroachment, she dedicated her life to building the ultimate guardian. It wasn't a ghost, it was an AI defense system, a bioacoustic fence she had designed. The system used a network of hidden sensors, the music box was one of them, to monitor the forest. It could project highly targeted auditory illusions to drive intruders away. The lullaby was the first warning, an uncanny sound to make people uncomfortable. If that failed, the system accessed biological data, increased heart rate, adrenaline spikes, to craft personalized auditory hallucinations based on a target's subconscious fears. A cold dread washed over them. The system was reading their fears and playing them back. The disappearances reported over the years, likely poachers, driven to madness or led off cliffs and into ravines by the system's symphony of terror. Suddenly, an alarm blared from the console. A new heat signature appeared on the screen, moving stealthily towards an area marked Nesting Zone. Beside the signature, a word glowed in red: Threat detected. The text on the main monitor changed: Mode Active Engagement. The lullaby stopped. A profound silence fell over the bunker. Then, through the system's speakers, they heard what the poacher was hearing. It was a nightmare. The sound of a large predator snarling, the shriek of a woman in agony, the cry of a baby that morphed into a demonic screech. It was an auditory assault designed to break the human mind. In silence, the four friends climbed the stairs, closed the hatch, and fled that forest. They never spoke of what they found, understanding that the forest's silent guardian had a job to do. They left the music box behind, its work as a sentinel not yet over. They had entered the woods seeking peace, but found a technological horror that protected an ancient beauty, a secret kept not by a ghost, but by a machine that sang lullabies to monsters. This story was a presentation from Shadow Tales.